up, everybody? This is IGN Live at E3, streaming all the hottest game demos straight from the show floor. We're almost halfway done with the day, but don't panic. We still have games like Epic Mickey 2, Aliens Colonial Marines, and Beyond to cover. But first, we're going to see the highly atmospheric sequel to Metro 2033. No, it's not called Metro 2034, but that's okay. Metro Last Light is looking hot. Let's check it out.
Thanks, Naomi. And I'm here with Hugh Bynum, Head of Studio Communications for 4A Games. And yeah, we're going to take a look at Metro Last Light. So I guess to start out, could you give kind of an overview of what the game's about and how it ties in with Metro 2033?
Yeah, so Metro Last Light is a direct narrative sequel to Metro 2033. We put you back in the boots of Artyom, the protagonist from the first game, and it's really an original story that continues Artyom's tale. Dmitry Glukhovsky, who wrote the novel that the original was based on, he wrote a follow-up called Metro 2034, which was like our internal working title for the game for a while, but he kind of describes it as an esoteric art house novel, not really suited to a video game adaptation, so he's actually worked with us to create this new original story for Metro Last Light.
Okay, so this is all original narrative content directly from the source.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit about the style of the game in case somebody hasn't played Metro 2033. It's definitely more of a shooter with more of a realistic edge that people might be used to.
Sure, I mean, we think of Metro Last Light not so much as a first-person shooter, it's a first-person action-adventure, and then it mixes a lot of gameplay styles and genres in there. So we have first-person shooting combat with a very stealth-driven element to that. We also have survival horror mechanics, exploration around the station cities, a lot of these different gameplay styles that all support the fiction that come together. So it's a very difficult game to try and demo in like a 10-minute snippet. When we showed you the game last year, we really focused on some very action-heavy sequences. We wanted to show how we addressed and improved the core combat experience, which I think was a valid criticism of the first game. And a lot of people maybe saw that and thought we're going down this gung-ho direction. So I want to reassure fans of the original that that's not the case, and what we've shown this time around is something that really taps into the survival horror vibe.
Okay, and how do you do that? How do you tap more into the survival horror vibe?
So for us, survival horror is about making the player feel vulnerable and threatened and piling pressure on top of them. So you have a lot of things to consider and worry about when you're in the world of Metro. You're counting the number of rounds left in your gun, you need to scavenge for ammunition, your watch is ticking down the number of seconds you have basically left to live unless you pick up filters for your gas mask. The mask itself will start to frost around the edges and your breathing becomes ragged as you run out of air. You have a flashlight, but even that needs to be manually cranked and charged, otherwise the beam will narrow and flicker and die, probably when you're in a dark, inhospitable area and you need it most. So all of these dynamics kind of coalesce to give you a lot to worry about and really sort of pile the pressure on.
Okay, and interface too, it seems like from looking at footage of the game, you can sort of see your ammo on screen, so you don't seem very interested in putting a bunch of ammo counts and things like that up on screen.
That's right. We do have a UI, and it's something that we're still working on at the moment. And maybe for a first-time playthrough, that will be helpful. But a lot of people played the original, stripping all the UI off. Our intention is to communicate as much information as we can within the game. So as you say, the gun that he's carrying now, this is the kind of the signature weapon. It's called the Bastard Gun. You can actually see the number of rounds left in the magazine, and each one will disappear as you fire it out there. It's a fairly telling reminder of how many bullets you have left. The watch is a physical item within the game, and we do a lot of other things whereby we try and break down the barrier between the player and the game world. So if you unscrew a light, you'll actually reach out and you'll see the hand twist the bulb to unscrew it, or if you interact with things, you'll see the hands come out and touch them. So we think by all of these mechanics combined just break down that barrier between you and the game world and help deliver that immersion that we're going for.
If you look down, can you see your legs?
You cannot see your legs.
Okay. I just figured I'd ask. In terms of the stealth system, because I know that was another element of the first game that was sometimes successful and maybe sometimes not as successful. How has that been modified in the sequel?
So, a lot of what makes a good stealth mechanics is good, sophisticated AI. And actually, we had some pretty sophisticated AI in Metro 2033. The problem is, the more complex you make your AI, any flaw, any issue in it becomes very, very apparent. And we just didn't have quite enough time to really polish that for the first game, and it led to some frustrating instances for the player. We've kind of gone back in, rebuilt a lot of those systems from the ground up, and the key word is consistency. For stealth gameplay to work, you have to, your enemy AI has to respond consistently. You have to understand what's going to happen that will either alert them to your position or cause them to alert other people to your position. So long as it's predictable, you can plan a strategy and then get the response that you expect. So I think people who had problems the first time around would be very pleased with where we've got the game this time.
And speaking of AI, just in terms of what you'll fight, how creatures will come at you, there were a lot of surprising moments in 2033 and unexpected encounters. How are you evolving those systems or developing them in Last Light?
Our mutant enemies present one particular type of challenge. They present one particular type of challenge. They're feral, wild. They'll rush at you. They can lead to some very frantic, close quarters combat. We've tried to mix up a lot of their behaviours and attack patterns to keep that interesting, so it's not just mindless blasting. Against your human opponents, that's a much more tactical form of combat. Although you don't have to play stealthily, I think players will naturally find that by taking a stealthy approach, they'll conserve ammo, they'll be able to break down the encounters into more manageable battles rather than having everyone descending on your position at once. And that's really important from the shooting perspective. This isn't like a focused corridor where all the enemies are primed and ready with their guns at the ready, waiting for you to advance and mow them down wave by wave. Particularly when you fight against humans, we tend to give you these bigger, real environments. It might be an encampment or a factory floor, and people will be going around their business, maybe working on some machinery or on patrol, and you have the chance to sort of scope out the location and figure out what your strategy is going to be, rather than everyone just guns ready.
So it doesn't feel like the world was basically built like it was waiting for you.
Yeah, it's not just waiting for you to walk through it. You feel like you're actually exploring and discovering as you walk through it.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, just talking about the design of the world. I know there are also non-combat spaces, or at least friendly areas you can go through.
Yeah.
Those exist in Last Light as well, and what can you actually do in those?
Yeah, so these station cities, this is where we kind of allow you to explore the world in a little more detail, and really give you the opportunity to see how life has evolved underground. Lots of incidental detail, people going about their business. You'll see how they're making weapons or getting food, how they're organised, how their social systems are organised. It really kind of draws you into the game world, and then from a practical perspective, they offer some, I think, much needed downtime from either the frantic combat or the terror you've been feeling in the tunnels, and they allow you to. It's where you can upgrade your weapons, trade your ammunition, buy new weapons and equipment, etc.
Okay, well, sounds good. Yeah, I guess what platforms is Metro Last Light coming to, and what is the release date?
So it's set for release on PC, 360, and PlayStation 3 in early 2013.
Okay, well, great. Thank you very much for the demo, and back to you, Naomi.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So are you guys excited about Metro Last Light? Follow at IGN on Twitter and let us know with a tweet or two. Next on the show is a crazy ambitious MMO FPS. Sony Online's PlanetSide 2 is coming up.